Okay, this is for the Les Mis accent challenge. So, number 1. Start off with something easy. Les Misérables. Let's hope that was reasonably okay. Number 2. Shake your fist at the camera and say Victor Hugo in a menacing manner. Victor Hugo! Is that okay? And number 3. I don't really have a favorite line from the musical. I guess I'll go with this one, which is the one I always think of when I think of the musical, so I suppose it counts. A ghost, you say, a ghost maybe. She was just like a ghost to me. 1 minute there, then she was gone. I like that one because I think it kind of exemplifies Marius's ridiculous personality. He says the word ghost 3 times in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So a fifth of the words in that sentence were ghost. Well done, Marius. And number 4, the following names: Jean Valjean, Javert, Fantine, Thenardier, Eponine, Euphrasie, Cosette Fauchelevent, Montparnasse, Claquesous, Babet. The most misunderstood character is number 5, and this is a little difficult. There are a lot of characters that get misunderstood regularly. I would say, kind of going in a weird direction with this, but the one that the musical interprets the most strangely is Marius. He seems all competent and together, and like the Amis actually, are listening to him or something, or he's one of their leaders, when in The Brick he really isn't at all. Not that this is a bad thing, it's a perfectly valid representation of Marius, and certainly I think more pleasant than Marius in the book, but there it is. I don't like Marius, I just don't. No one who talks about their pure celestial love is just... Number 6, say, we need as much furniture as you can throw down, like Fra Fee does in the movie. Read as, we need as much furniture as you can throw down. Number 7, do you prefer the movie or the stage show? Alright, I am a bad Les Mis fan. I have not actually seen the stage show. Part of that is because I live in the wilds of North Carolina and there aren't a lot of stage shows around with that. Part of it's because I have a huge list of recorded performances of the stage show, and every time I look at it, I get a little scared. I like the movie, but my absolute favorite is the book. I find the book absolutely fascinating and wonderful, so there it is. Favorite line from The Brick? It's actually a section. It's actually from Waterloo. My favorite section from Waterloo is: a massacre took place in the chapel. The interior, which has recovered its calm, is singular. The Mass has not been said there since the carnage. Nevertheless, the altar has been left there, an altar of unpolished wood placed against a background of rough-hewn stone. 4 whitewashed walls, a door opposite the altar, 2 small arched windows. Over the door a large wooden crucifix, below the crucifix a square air-hole stopped up with a bundle of hay. On the ground, in one corner, an old window frame with the glass all broken to pieces. Such is the chapel. Near the altar there is nailed up a wooden statue of St. Anne, of the 15th century. The head of the infant Jesus has been carried off by a large ball. The French, who were masters of the chapel for a moment, and were then dislodged, set fire to it. The flames filled this building. It was a perfect furnace. The door was burned, the floor was burned, the wooden Christ was not burned. The fire preyed upon his feet, of which only the blackened stumps are now to be seen. Then it stopped. A miracle, according to the assertion of the people of the neighborhood. The infant Jesus, decapitated, was less fortunate than the Christ. The walls are covered with inscriptions. Near the feet of Christ this name is to be read: Henquines. Then these others: Conde de Rio Mayor Marquesa de Almagro Habana. There are French names with exclamation points, a sign of wrath. The wall was freshly whitewashed in 1849. The nations insulted each other there. It was at the door of this chapel that the corpse was picked up which held an axe in its hand. This corpse was Sub-Lieutenant Legros. On emerging from the chapel, a well is visible on the left. There are two in this courtyard. One inquires, why is there no bucket and pulley to this? It is because water is no longer drawn there. Why is water not drawn there? Because it is full of skeletons. I like that section because it kind of exemplifies Hugo's whole thing with the weird historical details, like the very, very specific names, and then the general, so the specific and the general, and lending focus to both by balancing them out. And so the whole thing where you have this wall where people are insulting each other by carving names in and writing exclamation marks, and then the way it ends, or that section pauses for a little bit before going on to the rest of the horrible massacre in the orchard, is the well, which is full of skeletons. And that image of the well full of skeletons just kind of sticks with you. Like, it's really hard to forget. And then, I mean, that's without even going into the whole thing with the chapel and the baby Jesus with its head shut off, and then the other Jesus with its feet burned off. And it's just, I don't know, it's a very interesting passage, and there's a lot to be said about it. So the next thing is 9. I have not seen more than one version of Les Mis, so I cannot say who is better in certain roles. Number 10, read out these names, good luck. Enjolras, Combeferre, Courfeyrac, Feuilly, Bahorel, Bossuet, Grantaire, Jehan, Joly, Marius Pontmercy, l'ami de l'Abbesse? Nope. My favorite character is Eponine. I like her in The Brick. My favorite thing, oh, for crying out loud, I keep getting text messages. In The Brick, my favorite thing that she does is defend Cosette's house from the gang, which includes her father, and it's just so terrible. Like, there she is, and it's talking about how she's half-starved and kind of really not all there, and she's just like, oh, go ahead, shoot me, it'll call the watch, everyone will be here in a minute, that'll work just fine, go ahead, shoot me, why don't ya? And they don't end up doing it, and everyone's kind of really weirded out by her, but it's just like, she doesn't care at all. And that's both really, really incredibly sad and incredibly, I don't know, it's really, really sad, and it makes her very, very, relatable is not the right word here. I guess vivid, it makes her a very vivid character for a little while. She becomes extremely memorable in that scene. In the musical / movie, I really like the part where she shows Marius where Cosette's living, even though she's perfectly aware that he has a thing for Cosette and not for her. It's like, she knows what's going on, but she's so happy to do this for him, and then, oh, it's not happy at all. My absolute favorite part of the movie, though, is where she puts her hair under her hat right before going off to the barricade. Oh, sound off. Yes, the part where she puts her hair under her hat before she goes off to the barricade. Usually when you disguise yourself as a boy, you cut off all your hair. Obviously, I don't really have to cut off very much to disguise myself as a boy, in terms of hair anyway. Yeah, but I don't know, it's this little tiny moment of vanity and pride, I guess? No, not pride, mostly vanity. It's just this little teeny touching moment of girliness in the movie, and it's just really, really sad in context. It's really, really sad. So yeah, I love Eponine because she's super, super sad. Yay! Modern AUs. Oh, here's an unpopular opinion. I don't really like them that much. I really like canon era fic, and I prefer that. My favorite fic is Nomon by Lucia in the modern era ones, but yeah, I really prefer canon era. To the barricades! Okay, number 14. I ship Javert Valjean, or Valjean Javert, really. And I ship ER as one does, and in the rest of it, convince me. I'm willing to be convinced of any and all ships. I kind of like Courfeyrac Jean Prouvaire pretty well. I don't know, I find it kind of charming, and of course I ship Joly and Misérables and Bossuet. Number 15, passive-aggressive for the Cosette haters. No, not really. I think Cosette's absolutely wonderful, and I love her to bits. And yeah, I think she's just... I will admit that in The Brick, Hugo's description of her can get a little bit much, but I think that she is generally fantastic, and I would like to see some more things about how Valjean might have treated her, trained her. Like, this is a man who's seen the worst of humanity. He's seen what happened to her mom, he's worked in the galleys, he was the mayor for a while and really dealt with a lot of, nasty things that were happening to women. And I would like to think that he would have realized that as much as he wanted to, he can't protect her from everything in the world, and he would have given her every tool he had for her to protect herself. So I guess one of my canon era AUs is that Valjean dies earlier on, and Cosette is left alone and not quite penniless, but the money's running low, and she ends up becoming a street enforcer / assassin, but that's maybe a little bit silly. So yeah, that was the Les Mis accent challenge, and it was terrible. I'm sorry for being really ridiculous, but yeah, thanks for listening. Bye.